Hey, I'm Sith King.
And I'm Sonic Sons.
And we're the Rambling Reviewers.
And today we're looking at Superman 1.
The movie without a subtitle.
The Superman, the movie.
Superman 1, the Superman.
Actually, there's a subtitle. The subtitle is the movie. So yeah, we're doing Superman stuff all out of order. I think one of these days we're gonna get a film series and actually watch everything in a row, like we do a TV series.
Well,
we referenced it before. You hadn't actually seen all of it.
No.
I think I have it actually a long time ago. But you know what? We weren't off the mark really from what we've been saying when we were talking about Man of Steel and how it was so grim and gritty in a particular sense. Still not Batman style, but grim in its own way.
Oh yeah.
And old school Superman was the big brother type. He was the Eagle Scout. You just felt comfortable with him, you know. And you like that idea, like, you know, once in a while in movies to have the outstanding hero guy. And Superman is the guy to do it with. I don't know who would fit that role better.
Yeah, he's just a nice guy. He literally rescued a kitten from a tree.
Yeah. I had either forgotten or not even seen that part previously. We were like, yeah, see, we talked about that last time. The kind of guy who would rescue kittens from trees.
Yeah, although after seeing this, it's weird. Usually you expect the older movies to have the worst quality and the lowest level of production stuff.
Then again, you also expect sequels to suck, so it kind of works either way.
Superman 4, it just felt like a really bad made in not even China, like some micronation ripoff.
Yeah.
It was just
they took several of the classic scenes from this one and just redid them for 4, and we're like, wow. 4 was bad on some. This is how bad 4 was, because not knowing that stuff was a ripoff necessarily, you thought, wow, this looks dumb. And now knowing that it's dumb and based on something good, like you couldn't even copy the quality of the good one the first time.
Now there are a lot of plot holes. A bunch of them.
Yeah.
Like for some reason, Lex Luthor figures, kryptonite is somehow his weakness.
I have no idea how he knows this, yeah.
And wait, his spaceship have to have bring, fragments of his home planet with him.
It really doesn't.
No, it really doesn't have to do that.
Yeah. You know how many planets have been destroyed by exploding suns whose fragments have not landed on ours?
Yeah, especially since they're in another galaxy, man.
Yeah, how the frick long does that trip take?
The nearest galaxy to us is the nearest major galaxy to us is the Andromeda Galaxy, and that's 2 million light years away.
The timing there was weird. So, by that measure, if
Krypton was in one of the dwarf irregular galaxies that orbit the Milky Way, like the large and small Magellanic Clouds, then that's still hundreds of thousands of light years away.
We are pretty good at nitpicking. We have to see gravity. That's what we need to see. Which is a good movie, by the way. But yeah, the thing with the satellites, it doesn't work that way. But oh well.
Yeah. So.
Back to Superman.
Okay. So he somehow figures. Oh, okay. So I figure. Okay. So maybe some particles of kryptonite got stuck in the slipstream field as it went. Superman's ship went into FTL or something. Yeah. And then this guy is holding a chunk of kryptonite as big as my head.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, this fell to Earth. Why?
Yeah.
Why? And it wasn't really clear why Krypton was destroyed.
Is it ever?
Okay, well, they said that some sources say that Krypton undergoes a main fusion. The core undergoes fusion, and it explodes because of that, but...
why does it even... I don't know.
But from what it looked like the Krypton was 8 miles from the sun, and it just ran...
The sun just keeps getting closer, and everyone's like, no, Krypton is just shifting its orbit. Do you realize that a planet shifting its orbit is a big freaking deal to begin with, right?
And second off, if your planet is literally close enough to throw rocks at the sun and hit it, you should be worried about any shifts in orbit that are towards the sun.
And how is it your planet is an ice world to begin with?
Yeah. Oh, and to add on to the stupidity, It wasn't even Krypton that exploded first. It was the sun that exploded first.
Which is actually more realistic than a planet exploding.
Oh yeah,
honestly.
good point. But
the planet wouldn't counter-explode like it's made of dynamite or something. It would just be exploded like a rock next to a stick of dynamite.
Ugh.
Yeah, so that didn't make sense. You know why a genius like Lex Luthor has really stupid henchmen? I don't know. Yeah.
Bulk and Skull were smarter about this. When Bulk and Skull are beating you. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. That doesn't make any sense. I said you during
so his first plan involved a woman getting molested by an army chief and no one watching the loaded nuclear missile.
Yep. And then he does it again. Which I love that he just has like a spare, house truck or whatever it's called.
Yeah, it's...
That's
why?
That's actually like, hey, look, I guess he was smart enough to plan ahead. But if he's smart enough to plan ahead, how is he not smart enough to hire some help?
Yeah, ones that can, tie their shoes, maybe.
Yeah, I think I was trying to put some humor into the show and whatever. But I said to you, what we would do if we made a Superman movie, we'd take that sense of heart this movie had. And then we just get rid of all the bumbling sidekicks and as much as can be done, get rid of the stupid physics. Now, obviously, he flies. You're never going to get around that. He doesn't generate a propellant. But, make everything as coherent as you can.
Of course. I don't know. At once, both the relationship with Lois felt really rushed, and totally understandable why it felt rushed.
It didn't. I didn't think it was right. It felt very fairy tale type of thing to me in a good way. It was.
That's why I said it felt justified.
Yeah. It's I mean, when they're flying around and she recites poetry, which is just her mind, your thoughts, but like they come out, they rhyme and stuff, and you're like, how often do you hear poetry in a movie? How many romances have you seen, or romantic comedies, or whatever? Does anyone have this sort of like intimacy? This sort of this very special moment thing? Nothing. That doesn't really happen. Not with that. Not in this method. You might have they look onto each other's eyes very deeply, but you've seen that 100 times. This was unique. They were touching that fairy tale type of thing. I like that.
Yeah, without making it into a big spectacle. I mean, granted,
well, it's kind of a spectacle in one way, but not
Enchanted. Enchanted was a good movie, but it wasn't very. Jeez, what was the word I was thinking of? Subtle.
No, it wasn't supposed to be.
Yeah. So seeing subtlety in fiction or fantasy, it's a very rare and precious thing.
Though granted, this subtlety involved what color is my underwear, but
okay, but still.
I know, yeah. I liked just the little details of her awkwardness. Were you expecting someone? Oh no, I had wine set up for the two of us, and no, this is an interview. What are you talking about? I love Christopher Reeve's performance. I love he is a scene. You see him take off the glasses and put them back on again, and it really does seem like a different guy.
Yeah, it does. Which is really a nice touch.
People have been making fun of that for the longest time, but it's believable when he does it.
You can tell, it's two different people.
Yeah, his posture changes, his voice definitely changes. The glasses are obviously, made to change his profile.
No, I think one of the things that we have to look at is both Superman the movie and Man of Steel are origin stories for Superman.
Yeah.
So I think we have to compare the two.
Yeah, I would...
well, we don't have to,
we
choose to. Okay, let's take one look at one of the bigger changes. How Pa Kent died.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and the other one, it was a big, stupid thing where he stupidly sacrificed himself so that his son's secret identity could remain a secret. In this one, he just dropped dead from a heart attack.
So let's compare the attributes. Number one, highly charged type of scene they were going for Man of Steel. It's a frigging hurricane. He looks into his eye.
Tornado,
right, sorry. He looks into his eyes from the distance, all this stuff. And in this one, it was dramatic, but in a very different way. It was very downplayed. Kind of fell over. His mom yells at one point. She just yells Jonathan. Yeah, maybe yells it twice or something. But that he doesn't They cut to a long shot I kept saying this to you in the beginning. Movies don't do long shots like this anymore, where they seriously just, we watch the scenery and whatever. And in this case, it wasn't even the scenery. It was a long shot of an incredibly intense moment taking place in this tiny little window in the screen. But that made it feel more personal, somehow, than being straight up in your face all the time. You know?
It didn't like show Jonathan gasping on the ground. You got this sense of you got a sense of finality about it.
You got a sense of it was real.
Even if, and this is honestly something that Superman could feel angsty about.
Yeah.
You know, the other one, he should feel angsty about that. I could have saved my father. Yeah, you should have, dumbass.
I know, he was right there. Like, how hard was it?
Capping.
You know.
But yeah, it was. Yeah, you could have gone there, saved him, and gone back. You know, you could have saved him. This one, he couldn't have saved him. Not unless you have one of your superpowers was super heart surgery.
Yeah, which he doesn't. Not Silver Age, this one.
Yeah. So, you know what he does? The next shot, it shows them at his gravesite.
Yeah.
In the hills of Kansas, which I don't think exist.
They went to the one hill that exists in Kansas. I don't know.
Yeah, but and it was, and you hear the tears in his voice when he says, "I could have saved him."
Yeah, and we don't need to like say it 30 more times and have him, like, if this were Man of Steel, right, there'd be like at least a dozen more scenes where he sort of flashes back to his father or has this expression like, I could have saved, like, okay, we get, you know,
yes, we get
it.
If
you overplay it becomes less real, you know?
But it settles on him kind of like a weight, and you can tell that this affects him for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, it was certain. I love how, you know, him standing out in the wheat, something field
wheat.
Later. Yeah, wheat. And
he's just staring off into the distance, and his mom just comes around and gives him a hug.
And he tells her that I have to go, you know, and you don't have to talk about Jonathan and a whole bunch of other things. It's just we know it's there, you know.
Yeah, we know that Jonathan was one of the few things keeping you tied to this farm. We know that we know all of this, but you don't have to say it.
You have to say it 100 times. Yeah. I liked that. And they took their time with that, with the exposition in general. I mean, man, how long? An hour goes by before he puts on the cape, something like that.
Easily
an
hour.
You know, maybe it was a little long, but honestly,
a little.
It was still a refreshing change from the rushed pace of so many movies.
Precisely.
And put Man of Steel, for instance, because it starts off, Jor-El gives his speech, and then what happens? Bam! Zod shows up. Bam! He has a coup. Bam! We're running away from him. And we discover that he's like, you know, or we revealed to the audience that he's evil and so forth. And then we're flying around on this flying thing. And then stuff is exploding. And then we're at our house and we're putting the baby away. And then Zod shows up. And then we're fighting him in the battle armor. And then Zod is like screaming at Jor-El's wife. What's her name?
Steve. Oh my God, you believe me. You actually believe me.
I did not. I said that for the purpose of laughing. Jor-El's right, and you know, and then she like dramatically shoots him away, and then he's being sent to jail, and he goes, you know, screams, "I will find him." And he screamed in this one too, but how much silence was around the screams? You know, we were contemplating, oh, maybe we should put him in jail or Phantom Zone jail, you know. And then he screams a bit, and that was cool. And then like we have the thing opens, and the weird
tumbly mirror
shows up. It was weird. As soon as they get caught in the mirror, the girls are like, "Forgive me," and I'm like, "You should have said that at the trial, you moron."
Mia, I know from experience that some experiences don't really sink in until they're happening.
Yeah, I guess.
But... Like you can say, "Oh, I'm prepared to do this," but then like you get up and ready to do it, and you're not ready.
Yeah, maybe.
But here another example. Just the whole attitude of saving people was just completely changed. What was the first heroic? How did he reveal to the world that he was Superman in Man of Steel?
Well, he revealed himself because Zod's ship showed up. He revealed himself by putting himself in handcuffs. Actually, remember, like he had helped the people with the oil rig before. He helped that girl.
Okay, when did he reveal himself as Superman?
As Superman was when he showed up in handcuffs.
Okay. In this one, he shows up, he saves Lois Lane because a helicopter with her on it was crashing off the side of a building.
Yeah.
So he catches her, and he goes, "Hi, how do you do? Hi, I'm me." He doesn't give himself a name. Lois Lane always names.
He says, yeah.
I'm a friend. How you doing? He's like going up, and then he slowly flies her up, and he catches the helicopter and brings it up to the surface, sets it down, and he says Lois Lane down, and he says, "Okay, the gentleman inside the helicopter, I think they need a doctor or something."
Yeah.
And then he flies away. "See you later, guys."
Yeah.
And then Lois faints, but okay, to be fair, she nearly fell off a fucking building.
Mm-hmm.
And then he does all these other amazing things just for the purpose of being amazing. And he's not conceited. He's not.
Well, he wasn't conceited in
in
Man of Steel.
He wasn't like grim. It was just, "Hi, how you doing?" He saves a little girl's cat. He replaces the engine on Air Force One.
Yeah.
He catches criminals. He takes these crooks and brings them to jail by dropping their boat in front of the police headquarters.
Yeah.
By the way, how are they going to clean that up?
I don't know.
I would have just taken, the guys and left the boat alone.
He probably learned that afterwards. There's got to be a Superman equivalent for J. Jonah Jameson. Like, he's a menace. He's putting boats on our streets.
Nice. And he's just very nice about the whole thing.
Right, and it's not that Man of Steel Superman was like evil, but he was just sort of like
he was grim.
He was depressed about it. He was like, I am a
For an anime
creature of the other world, and no one will ever understand me quite as much as just cat in a tree. Like, he doesn't do that,
Yeah, the whole time Superman is unfailingly polite.
Yeah. I mean, even when he's with Luthor, he gets pissed, but in this like restrained piss type.
Yeah,
of thing.
it's kind of like you see him as like a higher class of hero.
Yeah.
Like Lex Luthor almost comes across as a little crude, and
which is funny because he's got a thing for being refined in his way. But yeah.
And Lex Luthor's kind of dumb too. "I'm Lex Luthor, the greatest criminal mind of the modern era." Yeah, greatest criminal mind. You know what? I think Al Capone was better than you. They had to get him on a technicality, not because he was bragging in the middle of a prison courtyard. Idiots.
Yeah, things. Yeah, so those are things. Man, I really wish we were scripting that Batman Superman movie. We have to, watch the earlier video on that, and possibly we're gonna make another one with like even more detail by the time the new movie actually comes out.
This was actually a really good start for the Superman franchise.
Yeah.
Think about it. It sets up Lex Luthor, the single most classic villain of all of Superman.
Yeah, I still love him when he without warning, without foreshadowing, he does the dog whistle thing that only Superman can hear.
That was really nice.
It was really cool because like you're like, wait, what's going on? Oh, holy crap! Oh, where is it? You don't know, and it's like he doesn't have powers, but in that moment he's all powerful because you don't know where he is. I love that.
Oh, and Man of Steel, by comparison, it introduces us to Zod. Just Zod, who has the giant tentacle planet killer thingy.
Granted, we love Zod in Superman 2.
Let me finish here. Sorry, I was pausing for dramatic effect.
Okay.
But anything after that, I'm sorry, are you a god alien with invincible skin, in super speed, and the ability to destroy a planet with arcane weapons of mass destruction? I'm sorry, but Lex Luthor's going to feel like a downfall. Okay, what's your power? I have a lot of money and I can think. Look, unless you get a set of power armor, we're not going to be impressed.
You realize you're selling us against Batman v Superman, right? He has a lot of money and he can think.
No, I know
what you mean. Yeah, you have to get your power levels straight. And what are you going to do if your first show was guy threatens to kill everyone in the world?
One of the things we love about Lex Luthor is he always has a goal in mind. Not just
granted, the real estate idea is ridiculous, but yeah, he did have a goal. Well,
it's the same goal he had in Superman 4, actually.
And yeah, another ripoff, which was kind of a dumb idea to begin with, really. I would have thought, I don't know, I have to think of a better goal for him, but, the San Andreas fault line just doesn't work that way, and there's physics again for you. Also, that map.
The San Andreas... Oh, God, there was a map, and it was possibly one of the worst maps of the United States.
The worst U.S. map ever.
Oh, God.
There's this line going straight through Texas for no reason.
Louisiana looks like it has the same area as Rhode Island. Illinois, oh, poor, sweet Illinois, the land that I love.
Yeah.
What did they do to you?
Yeah, it was silly. Yeah, I'd love to see supremely competent Luthor with competent henchmen and everything, like we had in the Superman '90s cartoon. Like,
oh yeah, that was a great Luthor.
That was a great.
That's
Luthor.
the Luthor I grew up with. That's the Luthor I knew. And damn it, whenever I think of Luthor, I think of that vaguely. I don't even know what he was.
What?
He was bald. Was he black?
No.
I couldn't tell. I honestly thought he was black.
You're like Stephen Colbert. You can't see race.
He's kind of.
He's a little tan. He's not black, certainly, no. But he's the executive villain. He had this restraint about him that was really cool.
He didn't need to do shit. He had other people to do shit for him.
Yeah.
And he always made sure it was like 1 or 3 steps removed from him.
Yeah. Yeah. He was like a Xanatos,
Precisely.
Yeah. From you don't know Xanatos, go look up the Gargoyles cartoon. It's good stuff.
Maybe we should see that sometime.
Yeah. I only saw a few. I mean, I saw it back in the day. It's been quite a while.
So, anyways, here's one of the other problems I had with the movie. I mean, it was good, but okay, Superman gets really pissed because Lois Lane died because of the stupid nuking the San Andreas Fault thing.
Yep.
Even though the government pretty much banned cruise missile tests after one nearly hit Honolulu.
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, that was a thing.
Wow.
After that, they only did tested nuclear missiles by just dropping them in the ocean.
Don't we do underground tests also?
I don't think we do.
I thought I heard something about that, but
whatever. There are such things as underground tests, but I think that's mostly for places that can't get good access to the ocean.
Oh, all right. Anyway.
Possibly. Or, anyways. So, he flies around the world. And he flies around so fast, he goes back in time by rotating the planet backwards.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
First off, the rotation of our planet has bupkis to do with time.
Yep.
Time would continue, even if our planet suddenly stopped and we were flung into space from inertia, which is what should have happened, time would continue to move forward. It has nothing to do with the rotation of our world. Absolutely nothing. So if he was flying faster than light, I could buy that, because Einstein says that's how you time travel. You go faster than the speed of light. But that is not what the movie implied. Yeah. It implied that it was because he turned the planet backwards.
Yeah, and then because he turns it back forwards again, so that couldn't be an FTL thing.
Yeah, so basically that was silly in the extreme.
Yeah.
Second off, if he could go that fast, why didn't he grab both missiles, fling them into space?
Yeah. Well, that's the how it should have ended.
Yeah, they did.
I love that, yeah.
And furthermore, why did he... What evidence is there against Lex Luthor?
Yeah.
There isn't any evidence.
No one saw anyone tampering with the missiles.
Superman didn't drop off any tapes or recordings of Lex, which no one saw.
I mean, granted, his evil lair is down there, but who knows if there's much in the evil lair to implicate him with? Like, oh look, a map of San Andreas. I'm not sure that's beyond reasonable doubt.
Yeah, I mean, sure, there's the controls for that thing that killed the guy, but.
Dude, that's just door controls. It's not even like a gun. I guess maybe they indicted him on weapons charges because of all those machine guns he had set up in the freaking hallway.
Well, if he owns that, then it's private property. Yeah, but I get there probably might be weapons charges. Yeah.
Yeah, because there can be limitations on how weapons are obtained and things like that. Well, not very much in America, but theoretically there could be.
Yeah. We need weapons reform.
Yeah.
Okay, so. Yeah, so Superman just reverses time, and we assume that he did all this okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically, don't do a Deus Ex Machina. Don't come up with a new power at the end. If you foreshadow it, maybe if you're gonna do some and put limitations on it, you should know, because they're making 2 movies at once. They should know. Oh wait, we've just introduced a time travel power. Doesn't that mean he can fix everything all the time?
Yeah. Shouldn't he be able to? Go back in time, see the crazy spinning mirror approaching Earth, and drop kick it into the nearest black hole.
Right. You know what they should have done if they're
drop kick the mirror into the nearest
yes,
black
that's
hole.
True. But also, if they wanted to keep this ending the way it was, and they're making Superman 2 at the same time, it should have been that violating, time traveling through time fricks with the space-time continuum in such a way that releases the Phantom Zone. right?
Right.
So I actually caused this problem.
See, we planned for that. We planned for that. Except you didn't.
And then we would actually have maybe a device that erases memories instead of a kiss.
Why would that be a thing? What evolutionary pressure would lead to a memory erasing kiss?
I don't want to think about it. I don't know. I don't know.
What horrible nightmare reality does Krypton inhabit?
I don't know. It's so crazy.
That's a...
Yeah, that's Superman 2. Yeah, that's... so we're again, looking at the good stuff and the bad stuff. The good stuff is that heart, that sense of sincerity. Bad stuff is just things that don't make sense.
It's an early superhero movie, though.
Yeah.
So you don't exactly expect it to be a #1 super quality all the time forever thing.
Yeah.
But, I mean, yeah, it's supposed to be a little on the silly side.
Yeah.
We get that.
Yeah.
But when it interferes with the story narrative, I tend to have a bit more of a problem with that.
Yeah.
Mind you, this is still a really good movie, and I advise seeing it.
Yeah, it's an old classic, especially to note the ways in which old movies are different from modern movies. And again, that's a lot with the long shots and long cuts, and things taking time. And there's a certain gravitas that comes out of that. And no shaky cam.
Well, no deliberate shaky cam.
There's a little bit like these helicopter shots where they didn't really have a good steady cam back in the day.
But
that only lasts like a couple seconds, 10 seconds, whatever.
Yes. Another reason you should see this, there are so many references to this movie, to the actors in modern culture.
Yeah.
You should see this just so you know what they're talking about.
I remember seeing in Tiny Toons, the couple
oh yeah.
When they went over
it's
the
in
cliff.
his kiss.
No, wait. Which one are you talking about there?
Okay. Babs in Tiny Toon Adventures. Babs Bunny was singing this song about how if someone loves you because of his kiss. She played Lois. She briefly was in the place of Lois Lane in
Superman.
And what was Buster was in the place of Superman. And he dropped her just like in the movie, except that she hit the ground. But cartoon, so it just leaves a person-shaped hole.
Yeah.
Even when it really shouldn't make sense that there should be person-shaped bits. Like her ears are floppy, but they still leave like
It's cartoon. You just said that.
Well, yeah, I know. It's just one of those things.
Yeah.
But
anyway,
just like that.
Yeah, there was another moment they did with the "I've got you," but who's got you? Now I know exactly where that came from.
What was that from?
That's from when he first catches her. It's actually a little longer than that. He goes, "Oh, I've got you. You've got me, but who's got?"
What were you referencing?
Another bit of Tiny Toons Adventures when they both went off a cliff, and he's like, Buster's grabbing onto Babs. "I've got you, but who's got you?" And then actually Superman showed up, and they went, "You're in the wrong cartoon." He went, "Fine." He dropped him again.
Superman, you dick.
Superman was less of a dick in this one. He did drop Lewis accidentally, though. Yeah, but it was accidental, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
As opposed to freaking 4, I'm just going to pretend to commit suicide. Like, what the hell
And then he dropped her again in midair over the Rocky Mountains. The balls is wrong with you, man.
I don't.
Of course, you're Kryptonian, so you probably don't have balls. You have, like, orbs.
I don't know.
You know what? No, I'm not.
How do you always wander into these sexual things?
I don't know.
So yeah, it was a little unclear to me how much he knew of his past at what age, because they're like telling him stuff in the pod when he's a baby, but I'm like, he's a baby, he can't understand you.
And they're telling him all this stuff, and then at one point they say, "Oh, there's an old Chinese saying, how the fuck do you know what Chinese is? You're from another galaxy."
Yeah.
Think.
And then he apparently, before he puts on the cape, he goes into like a 12-year trance, apparently, where they're just like putting information into his brain, which is weird because A, he's not supposed to be a super genius like a Reed Richards who knows everything of 28 known galaxies.
And B, what did he eat? How was he alive? Was he put in a stasis pod or something while all this was downloaded into his brain?
And C, I love the bit where it's like, "And now we will discuss the human heart." Ah, crap, if only you told him that before Kent had a heart attack.
Yeah, turns out you do have super heart surgery powers. My bad.
Yeah, I know. There wasn't much
balls,
need
man.
for that delay.
And how would you know anything about the human heart? You've been dead for years.
Yeah. And how many years, I don't know. Because, like, at one point, I think Luther said, like, oh, the kryptonite would take 3 years to get here. And then we also hear it's in a different galaxy. And then we also hear, I'm thousands of years dead since your time. Like, well, which is it, man? It's like every number you can think of. I'm not even dead yet, actually. It's a negative number.
Yeah, actually, remember the time travel power you have? Surprise!
Yeah.
And...
yeah. But,
so, okay, so he spends 12 years. And then at one point, he just jumps out later. He doesn't even look around. He looks around briefly to see if anyone's watching in the newsroom, watching him standing at the window. He opens the window, jumps out, and transforms... No, I'm not saying he changes his outfit. I'm saying his outfit becomes the costume.
Yeah, it was silly. I love the joke. He's like, I'm gonna find a phone booth, and it's like not tall enough. You know, it's a half phone booth thing.
It's just like a pole with a payphone on it.
Just like the top half of the glass is there. And he's like, oh, never mind. And I'm like, wow, they were making fun of that since the first movie. This is an old trope.
And then finally, he gets into a revolving door. He transforms there in front of a pimp.
I'm not sure what that guy was.
No,
He's
he
just
was
a guy.
He was a pimp.
I don't know. All right.
Trust me, I know my...
I will not ask how. You know that.
No. It's because he was talking like one, and there were several very hot women in his car who were scantily clad.
Yeah, that would probably make sense.
I put 2 and 2 together, and I possibly got 4, but I'm guessing it's 4.
I'm guessing it's 4, yeah.
But, so that happens.
Yeah. The girl gets hit. I guess that's meant to be a light slap or something. But you actually hear like, "Mommy, Superman rescued a kitty from the tree," or she doesn't know she's Superman yet. But
a man swoops out of the sky and saved the kitty from the tree. What have I told you about lying?
Smack. Like, oh god.
Wow.
Okay. Never
and then there's a scene where an army colonel says, "Wait, she might not be breathing. I'll have to check her chest and then give her mouth to mouth." And it's implied totally that he's just going to molest the hell out of her.
Yeah.
And that's a little... Okay, maybe that might have been a tiny bit more acceptable back when women didn't...
It doesn't make it any more acceptable now.
No, it really isn't.
Yeah.
It was pretty unacceptable. You know what was even more unacceptable? The fact that none of them were watching the loaded, armed nuclear warhead behind them.
As much as I detest the mistreatment of women, I detest the misuse of nuclear warheads against civilian populations even more.
Yeah. You know what?
Especially because some of those civilians are women anyway, right? So.
You know what? Honestly, I can let molestation of women slide as long as you're keeping nuclear warheads out of the hands of maniacs.
To be clear, you shouldn't do either of these bad things. We're just prioritizing.
Yes.
No, seriously, the women's rights are very important. I'm just,
yes. Just saying, if I have the choice between stopping a nuclear missile from hitting New York City and stopping a woman from getting molested, I'm going to choose, and I can only choose one.
And I can only choose one.
Yeah, I'm going to stop the nuclear missile.
Put that on a t-shirt.
That's... Hey, I'm just saying, I don't like cities getting nuked. I don't like it.
It's just a thing, you know?
We're wacky like that.
Yeah, man. It's kind of weird thinking of that.
People are going to yell at us saying, oh, you'd rather have women be molested. Well, as an alternative to cities getting nuked, yes.
Man, yeah. No, that's actually kind of weird, because I lived in Japan for 6 months, so mildly connected to all that. And for some reason, they don't hate Americans over there. I kept going, don't you guys hate me? Because
well, I think you're forgetting the point that the Japanese are insane.
It's not quite the way to put it. But they focus most of their aggression against the other Asians, Koreans, Chinese, and stuff. There's a inter-Asian conflict is a long-running thing over there.
Yeah.
Anyway, Japan is awesome, and nukes are bad in most cases.
Nukes are bad. Okay. Ruin your life.
Yeah, don't smoke nukes, kids. Don't.
Why would you... How? How would you smoke a nuke?
I just wanted to connect that because he told Lois not to smoke cigarettes. Don't.
Yeah. Oh, she says, it's going to give me lung cancer. He scans her with X-ray vision. And he's like, oh, no, not yet. And I'm like, but it'll happen sooner now that I've bathed your body in radiation.
Yeah, well, I'll let that one slide.
Yeah.
You know, his X-ray vision has never made sense, and it has never actually operated on X-rays. It's just see-through vision.
Yeah. X-rays wouldn't be able to determine the color of things.
Yeah. Not the regular color, man. I guess there's an X-ray color if you want to be really technical about it. Because all light has a color. It's just whether or not you can see it.
Yep.
Yeah, the best way you could explain that is he's just really freaking sensitive to photons. And the ones that kind of cut through solid rock, I guess he can see.
He flies without any visible reaction power, so no.
Anti-gravity cells or something, I don't know. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. It's good stuff, it's bad stuff. Overall, old school classic superhero movie. For an old school classic superhero. I guess that works.
You know what? After watching like the Avengers or Man of Steel or any one of these modern superhero movies, watch this one.
Yeah.
It's got a lot more heart.
Yeah, well, the Avengers
Avengers
is a lot better than Man of Steel. I would say Avengers and Man of Steel are of the modern variety, but Avengers did it right. And this is a different variety. And Superman is a different variety. This is the
classic. Well, I know. I'm just giving examples of superhero movies. Like, just all these superhero movies. This is just a completely different style here.
Yeah.
It's slower. It's paced more.
Yeah. A different sense of heart to it. Better sense of heart to it in other ways. Physics are kind of silly. And special effects are kind of poor. But yeah, I didn't really care for the special effects being not great. I was like, whatever. I can deal with this. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like the one bit in 4 where the way he fell was just so counterintuitive. It just racked my brain.
Or like how they
one shot, yeah.
Or how they kept reusing that one shot to show flying instead of all the different all the awesome techniques. Ways.
Yeah. 4, man. Not 4 is death in Japanese. I had to invent a new word for 4 actually because she is the original word for 4. That's shinu is to die. So they call it yon sometimes.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah.
Yon Daime from Naruto.
Yeah.
4th Hokage.
I have barely seen any Naruto.
Don't.
Okay. I've mainly seen the Bridge series.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to experience it.
Yeah.
It just got really, just in the last year or two, it just got really stupid. It's weird. The Japanese seem to have this unhealthy obsession sometimes with redemption and everyone can be best buddies.
That is a cliche in anime anyway, yeah.
Just the anime.
Yeah.
Just like, and this, Naruto's arguing that, like, Sasuke, spoiler alert, by the way, like, Sasuke has declared war on everyone and is trying to murder every single person in the world. But no, he's our friend! No, he's not! He's trying to murder you!
Speaking of anime, though, a very good series, I'll just mention briefly, Haibane Renmei, which I freaking love. And we watched a few episodes of it, and we're not going to talk about it now because I would make a whole review about it. But just go watch it. It's great. Yeah, unless you insist on super action-y stuff, because this is the absolute opposite of action. It is much more slow.
Well, it's not the opposite of action.
Meaningful.
The opposite of action would just be nothing.
Well, okay, it's close to that. In terms of people getting, attacked.
A couple people being morons, but what else is new? But I can point out people being stupid a mile away. So.
Stupid radar. Eh?
Stupid R.
Stupid R. Yeah.
Well, stupid R's in case of Team Rocket. Boom.
Stupid jokes in case of us. Okay, I think we're done talking about Superman.
Yep.
Okay, so good stuff.
I'm Sith King.
And I'm Sonic Sons.
And we're signing off.